Om. Guru Brahma, Guru Vishnu, Guru Devo Maheshwaraha, Guru Sakshat Param Brahma, Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Ajnanatimidandhasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Tvameva Mada cha Pita Tvameva Bandhuscha Sakha Tvameva Vidya Dravinam Tvameva Sarvam Amriteshwari Ma Tvameva Sarvam Amriteshwari Ma Tvameva Sarvam Amriteshwari Ma. Om Amriteshwari Nama. We'll begin with a short meditation. Kindly sit straight and make sure your vertebral column, spinal column is erect. Slowly close your eyes. Try to focus within by focusing on your breath first. Breathing normally but with full awareness of each and every inhalation and exhalation that occurs. As you focus on your breath, you will also slowly start relaxing and feel the relaxation. Now we'll chant Om 3 times. As we chant Om, imagine the sound of Om to arise from your navel area and not from your throat, and visualize the sound going upwards, cleansing your body, your mind, and the atmosphere around you. Now kindly take a deep breath. Feel the awareness of the reverberations of Om in every particle of your body, and feel the Om vibrating both inside and outside. And now as you breathe in, Chant the mantra Ma silently along with your in-breath. And Om when you breathe out. So Ma when you breathe in and Om when you breathe out. Ma is a representation of divine love and Om of divine light. You need not visualize them, but just feel the vibrations of love and light, filling your whole heart and your whole being. And now after you chant Ma, hold your breath. After you inhale, just for 5 seconds. Don't hold it too long. And then breathe out chanting Om. So Ma, hold your breath. And then Om after 5 seconds. So continue like this for some time. Ma. Om. Ma. Om. And continue for some time. Continue according to your rhythm. You need not follow my rhythm. Everybody has a different rhythm. Slowly and slowly the vibrations of Ma and Om become more and more subtle. You can feel the reverberations of Ma and Om rather than the physical sound. Feel the vibrations while you breathe in and breathe out. Feel your heart being filled with that divine love and light. As the heart fills, imagine your heart slowly blossoming like a bud that blossoms into a beautiful flower, giving sweetness and fragrance and beauty to others. Feel your heart being filled with that love. And the love becomes compassion. Compassion for all the beings in the world. And now let's pray for all the beings in this world. While praying so, you can imagine a ray of light going out from your heart, filled with love, with peace, with bliss and full of light and compassion. Just like the rays of the sun, and as the light falls on each and every being, imagine they also become more loving, more peaceful, more blissful and more compassionate. And while imagining so, let's chant the prayer Loka Samasta 9 times. Om Loka Samasta Sukhino Bhavantu. 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 Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om. Om Dhyayamo Dhavlavagundhanavatim Tejomyim naishtikim snigdhapangavilokhinim bhagavadim mandasmidashrimukhim valsalyamritavarshinim sumadhuram sankirtanalapinim shamangim madhusikta suktim amridanandatmikam ishwarim. Om Sadashivasamarambham Shankaracharya Madhyamam Asmadacharya Paryandam Vande Guru Parambaram Srude Smriti Purananam Alayam Karunalayam Namami Bhagavat Padam Shankaram Logashankaram Shankaram Shankaracharyam Keshavam Bhadarayanam Sutrabhashya Kritau Vande Bhagavandau Punah Punaha Ishwarau Guru Ragmedi Murti Bheda Vibhagine Vyamavat Vyapta Dehaya Dakshina Murtaye Namaha Om Amriteshwarye Namaha Om Amriteshwarye Namaha Om Amriteshwarye Namaha. Om Amriteshwarye Namaha. Just before we begin, I would like to inform that the next 3 weeks there will be no sessions of Srimad Bhagavatam because I'm going to India to attend the C20 meetings, so it will be impossible to do the Bhagavatam class at that time. So my apologies. In the last session, we were examining the dharma, that is the duties of a householder. And we were talking about different ashramas, first the brahmacharya, then the grahastha, the vanaprastha, and finally the sannyasa ashrama. And especially we were talking about the dharma of the grahastha ashrama and what a grahastha should do. And it's also equally important to know what is not dharma, which is adharma. So they were talking about the 5 aspects of adharma, namely which looks like dharma, and you can easily identify or misidentify them to be dharma. And so what you need to do is you have to be careful about these 5 aspects of adharma. That's what he is saying here. So the 5 aspects are, they are known as, 4 aspects. Which is known as vidharma, paradharma, abhasa, upama, and chala. So there are 5 aspects. So vidharma means by performing which one's duty can be adversely affected in spite of the work appearing good. And we saw some of the examples earlier. And so we might intend to do something good, but really we do not know whether that will end up as good. Saying the example of giving some money to a poor person or a homeless person, and with that money he could take drugs or drink alcohol, and then he could go and get angry at people or kill people. So that is, your intention was good, but the result did not end in good. And paradharma means the second one, which is paradharma, means the dharma meant for another. We often do that. What happens is when we come to the ashram, we take up one seva, and then what slowly as we keep working, then we don't like either the person who is working with us or who is supervising us or who is coming and telling us what to do and what not to do. So we say, I don't want this seva. I will abandon and I'll go and look for some other seva. So that is doing paradharma. And so if we should continue to do what is given to us, understanding that it is coming from Amma. And paradharma in a worldly sense means also that you are not doing your dharma or trying to escape, as I was, one of the classic examples was saying when Arjuna did not want to fight the battle and he wanted to run away and he wanted to become a sannyasin. So Lord Krishna is telling him that is not his dharma. That is what he is going to do is paradharma. And becoming a sannyasin is not his dharma, so he has to sit there, stand there and fight. So that is doing somebody else's dharma or some other dharma. And the third one is upadharma, is the way of unbelievers or people who make a mere show of observing dharma. With this we know so many people, especially I don't want to name anybody in the strata of our society, but we can see in our day-to-day lives, a lot of people seem to show that they are serving the society, but whereas they are doing this for themselves. And so the last one is chala, means interpreting the scriptural passages in whichever way one likes. So I was saying one example where when there is a fight between a husband and wife in the household, and then the husband will say to the wife, Amma meant it for you. This was meant for you only. She didn't tell me this, it was for you. So you are using it as a weapon against somebody or something for your selfish reasons. When Amma says something, it's meant for us also. So as Amma says, when you point one finger, there are 4 fingers pointed towards you. So you cannot use it in such a way that you can use Amma's teachings or misinterpret Amma's teachings in whichever way you would like to do. So the other way is also saying that Amma said like this, Amma said like that. So you totally misinterpret the scriptures as well as the Guru's words. So that is the chala. And the works which men do disregarding, so which is they are saying is it is called abhasa or perversion. So that's what they are saying. So such things that you do is perversion. So how do you know that you are performing dharma? So he says, so it leads to, whenever you do your dharma, it leads you to peace of mind. So that whichever takes you to the peace of, leads you and gives you peace of mind and creates harmony in the society, that is dharma. So that is more important. And so he's talking now neither for the discharge of his religious duties nor for his livelihood. Need a desireless man of poor means struggle. For in the case of the desireless man, his giving up all work and activity will itself procure for him food, as in the case of a python. So, he's saying that if in the case of a person who is discharging or his duties and being desireless. So in that case, he doesn't have to perform duties to procure food. The food will come to him. Amma says the example of the sadhaks. Amma says that none of the sadhaks have gone hungry. And always, in one way or the other, food will reach to them. When Amma was doing her sadhana period, during her sadhana period, this was a big example. The animals brought her food. The eagle would drop fish, and the dogs would bring some kind of food for her. So even if she did not get up and go in search of food, the food will come to her. So he's saying, how can a man running hither and thither for the acquisition of money out of his desire for objects of enjoyment have the bliss of that one who is ever enraptured in the self, actionless and ever satisfied? So if you are running hither and thither for the objects of enjoyment, and what is happening? Your mind is always dwelling, how can I satisfy? How can I get satisfaction? So he's saying you cannot compare to a person who is just completely immersed in the self and actionless. So he's not actionless by choice. In one sense, he's just becomes actionless. He doesn't have to do any action. And just as the feet protected by a pair of shoes can walk fearlessly over stones and thorns, so also a man who is at peace within finds happiness in all places. And if a person is happy within, he would surely be happy even with some liquid food to imbibe once. But those who are not happy within run about like dogs on account of their abominable desire to satisfy their sex instinct and gluttony. So he's saying, if a person who's happy with what he gets, and also a man who's doing his spiritual practices, he's just like a person who is wearing a pair of shoes who can walk over stones and thorns and will be happy in any place. But a person who's not happy, what happens? He'll be like running around like dogs. So that's what he says. So just to satisfy their sexual instinct and their gluttony. And in the case of one who has no feeling of happiness and contentment within, all higher qualities like impressiveness, learning, austerity, reputation, etc. will ebb away through his sensuous indulgence. Whatever higher understanding he has perishes. So, when a person is indulged in the sensual pleasures, then what happens? He's saying the higher understanding will slowly go away. Because why? His mind is always dwelling in the lower realm. And hunger and thirst are appeased with food and drink. Anger abates when the victim has been suppressed or killed. But greed does not subside even if one conquers all the quarters and enjoys the whole earth. So, it says that you can appease hunger and thirst. How? By getting food and drink. And anger is also abated, or anger goes away when the victim has been suppressed or killed. But greed cannot subside. Because why? Even if you enjoy the whole earth, you still feel that this is not enough for me. You must have heard the story of the 7 jars of gold. Have you? There's once a man was walking through the forest, and when a demon or a subtle being appeared there and said, there is 7 jars of gold there. So go and get it. And so what happened was he went and found the 7 jars of gold. So he took it very carefully home and kept it at home. And then when he examined these 7 jars of the gold at home, what happened was he found that only 6 jars were full, but the last one was only 6.5. So he had only 6.5 jars of gold. So he wanted to fill the 7th jar. So he went and worked and worked and worked. And he started working like mad, but the pot would not fill. Finally, one day, when the king was passing by, he saw this man, and he was so famished, he was so tired, and he was so worked out. The king called him and asked him, "Hey, why are you looking like this? You used to be quite rich some time ago, and you used to be satisfied. What happened?" Then the king asked him, "Oh, did you get that 7 jars of gold that the ghost was handing over to everyone?" So he said, "Yes." So the king said, "The ghost also tried to give it to me, but I didn't accept it. So just go and get rid of it. Then you will be happy." So the gold here, however we get, we are not fulfilled by whatever we get in a material sense. So he says many scholars noted for their learning and capacity to clear doubts of others can preside even over learned assemblies, become degenerate because of their lack of contentment and inner joy. So even learned men can go down. And then he says sexuality has to be conquered by abandoning the will to enjoy, which is sankalpa. Anger by abandoning desire, greed by reflecting on the risks of being wealthy, and fear by meditation on the supreme truth. So sexuality has to be conquered by abandoning the will to enjoy. So what does this actually, it arises from? They're saying it arises from the sankalpa. So it means that there is a sankalpa, there is a feeling that, this is going to give you happiness. And if you enjoy that, then you'll get more happiness. So that sankalpa in the mind has to be abandoned completely. It has to go. But it is hard work. It's not easy to get rid of that. But what happens is because of the vasanas that has been created, the impressions, it is very difficult to get rid of that kind of a vasana. And Amma says even at the age of 90, people still have that vasanas. And anger by abandoning desire. So when you have desire, it's not that doesn't mean that you should not have desire. You can have desire. But you have to have the right kind of desire. So suppose you cannot fulfill your desire, then what happens? That's where anger arises. That is in Bhagavad Gita, Lord Krishna says, right? From attachment, from looking at the sense objects, you get attached to it. From attachment comes delusion, and from delusion arises anger, and then from that you completely get destroyed. So it is by reflecting on the desire. What you can do is abandon that desire with the proper discrimination, saying that this is not for me. Amma says the example of the watch which is $10,000, and you can buy a watch which is only like $100. Both of them show the time. And if you just keep on thinking, oh, I want that $10,000 watch, then what happens after some time? If you don't get it, then you get angry. And you feel as if something is lacking in you. So then you get angry more. And so just abandon that desire. I don't want $10,000 watch. I'll just use a $100 watch. Then the anger is gone. And greed by reflecting on the risks of being wealthy. As I was saying earlier, in one of the other classes also I said, when we think about how to get rid of greed, just think about what if you were very wealthy. How many risks are there? How many people will be after you? I was saying the example of they were doing a survey of 10 people who won the first prize in lottery. And even in the recent lottery, which was like $1 billion lottery, the name of the person was not announced. Why? Because it was such a risk. All the thieves will go after him, all the murderers will go after him, and the cartel from Mexico will also go after him. So everybody will be after him. So why? Because they know that he has money. So that's why the risks of being wealthy. As I was saying, when they did the survey, the 10 people who won the first prize in lottery, out of them, 8 of them died in a unnatural way. Either they were killed, either they committed suicide, or what happened was then they were also tortured. And then the rest too went, in one sense, they went mad, or their mental stability was gone. So this is the risk of being wealthy. So when you think about having money, I'm not saying that you should not have money, but if you think of becoming so wealthy, and you say that, I want to become a billionaire, and so that if you think about that, think about the risks behind it. And grief and infatuation are to be overcome by discrimination between the Atman and the Anatman. Sorry, there's one more. Then fear by meditation on the supreme truth. So whenever you are afraid, how do you take away that fear? So if you meditate on the supreme truth, what happens? You understand that you are deathless. There is a part of you which is deathless, which is always immortal. So what is the basis of every fear? Death. So when you think about the supreme truth and meditate on the supreme truth shall reveal to you that there is the soul, the Atma, that is immortal. And it cannot be destroyed. So when you identify with that, then what happens is the fear is gone. And grief and infatuation are to be overcome by discrimination between Atman and Anatman, the self and the not self. Pride in one's greatness by association with the wise, obstacles to concentration by practice of silence, proneness to violence by controlling attachment to body and possessions. So grief and infatuation are to be overcome by the discrimination between Atman and Anatman, that is, which is the eternal or the permanent and impermanent. So that is how you get over the grief and infatuation. Because when you think about the impermanent and go after the impermanent, then after some time it will just disappear. Then you will be grieving. So if you do not go behind the impermanent and if you just focus on the permanent, then you do not grieve. And the pride in one's greatness by association with the wise. So when you have saying that, oh, I am a learned person, I am this and that, if you associate yourself with the wise people, then what happens? Then you'll realize that either you know nothing, or compared to them, what you have learned is nothing. So that pride will go away. Obstacles to concentration by practice of silence. This is a very important pointer for sadhaks. So when you are, when you cannot concentrate, what do they say? Practice of silence. So go into silence. So then what happens? The chattering of the mind becomes less and less. And not only that, you first become aware of that, and slowly you can stop the thoughts that arise in the mind. So in one sense, silence does not mean only the physical silence or absence of words, but it also means the absence of thoughts. Proneness to violence by controlling the attachment to body and possessions. Again, why do people become violent? Because it's of selfishness. And so detachment from the body and possessions. Then the painful experiences from other living creatures are to be overcome by kindness towards them. And those arising from past karma by practicing equanimity. Those from body by pranayama, and those from sleep by consumption of sattvika food. And rajas and tamas are to be conquered by sattva, and sattva by proper discrimination. An aspirant will succeed in all this easily if he has true devotion to the Guru. So, but he's saying the painful experiences that you get from other living creatures. So how do you overcome that? We often complain saying that she told me like this, or he complained about me, and he said like this, she did not say like that. So all these things come up. So how do you get over this painful experience? Saying that it is to be overcome by kindness to others. Show kindness. Kindness, even if they are criticizing you, even if they are talking bad about you, just show kindness to them. And those arising from past karma by practicing equanimity. So how do you know that it is coming from past karma? So there will be absolutely no reason why that should come to you. You might be just walking on the road, and suddenly somebody or something may come and hit you. And then you think, why did this happen to me? So this is past karma. Or as you know, some people are imprisoned for no reason. Suddenly they are put in jail, or they're being sued, and they have filed charges for nothing they have done. So these are all past karma. But then what happens when you react? It doesn't mean that you should not do anything, but if you react adversely, then you are creating more karma. So you're not cancelling the past karma. And those from sleep. So how do you get over the sleep? So he's saying by consumption of sattvic food. So eating food which is sattvic, which does not induce sleep, which does not induce tamas. So these are all food that can be eaten to go over sleep. And he says the rajas and tamas, that is the two qualities, the lower qualities, are to be conquered by sattva. So rajas and tamas can be conquered by sattva. And finally, how do you conquer sattva? So he says by proper discrimination. What is proper discrimination? He's saying, there's a footnote, he's saying though sattva is a desirable experience, even that has to be controlled and regulated, so that one is not diverted from the main path. Even a virtue misapplied can prove to be a danger. the story of Jadabharata, who happened to be born as a deer because of his being overkind, is quoted as an example. There are certain things which one can do and certain others which one cannot, however good they may be. So, as they say, the example, even a gold chain is a chain that imprisons you. So, even if you are sattva, if you are doing sattvic action, you have to understand that at a certain stage you have to go beyond that. And so you have to use sattva to overcome tamas and rajas. And once you overcome tamas and rajas, then what happens is then you have to conquer sattva ultimately. But how does an aspirant succeed? So what is the shortcut? He says, if you have true devotion to the Guru. If you have true devotion to the Guru, then what happens? All this is nothing. It will all happen naturally. It's not that these things are not needed, but all this will come into play and this will happen so naturally that you don't have to put any effort. And what happens? The Guru will make you do that. So it's not that you are not putting effort, but the Guru will make you do that. And the Guru will guide you in a proper manner. So he's saying that the shortcut to all these things, the best thing is having devotion to the Guru. And now he talks about the devotion and the faith in the Guru. And he says, what does that mean? Devotion means. What is faith means? If a disciple thinks of his Guru as a mere human being, instead of as a manifestation of the Lord Himself, bringing the light of wisdom, the scriptural study, and the knowledge he has gained will have failed in their purpose as a bath given to an elephant. So, first and foremost, what is it? Faith means. So, do not look upon your Guru as a normal human being. So, what is it? Instead, look at the person as a manifestation of the Lord Himself. So, you have to understand that it is the Lord Himself that has come in front of you as the Guru. So, if you do not do that, then what happens? The scriptural study, knowledge, and everything that you have gained will fail in that purpose. So Amma was saying that even suppose some people they do not get a realized Guru, right? Many people do not get a realized Guru. Only few people have the good fortune, like us, to get a realized master. And what happens? Even if you have that kind of a earning to find a Guru, to have a Guru, that Guru will lead you ultimately to the destination, or the Guru will lead you to a realized master. Amma was, earlier days, she used to tell the story that a disciple who had such a Guru, and she was saying that it does not matter how the Guru is, all that matters is the disciple's earning to reach the goal, in one sense. But of course, if you have a Guru, then a realized master, it is much better. But as long as you have the earning to have a Guru and to find a Guru, and whether the Guru is realized or not, it does not matter. So Amma was saying the story that once a disciple had a master and his Guru, but the disciple was a poor boy who used to earn his living by selling milk every day. He had like 2 cows. So he used to milk the cows, and sell his milk, and that's how he earned his living. And during one year when the birthday of the Guru came, of course the Guru was not realized. So what happened was, during that birthday, all the other disciples came and gave the Guru such expensive gifts, gold chains, this thing, that thing. BMW cars, everything. And then what happened? This boy who did not have anything, what he did was he decided that day, even if he is going to go hungry, he will give the milk that he got from his cows to the Guru. So he went and gave the pot of milk to the Guru. And the Guru looked at it and just kicked it with his feet and said, "What is this? You look at what all my other disciples have given me. And you see what they have given me and what you're giving me? Just a pot of milk. Why don't you just jump into the river and commit suicide? Aren't you ashamed to give me a pot of milk like this?" So the disciple thought, okay, I should heed to the Guru's words. So he went to the nearby river, and when he was about to jump into the river, suddenly a hand came and caught hold of him. And it was Lord Krishna, his beloved deity. And the Lord appeared in front of him and said, "What are you doing?" So he said, "My Guru asked me to jump into the river." So he said, "No, don't do that. Your Guru is not realized, so he was ignorant and he told you like that. So don't worry about it. Just go back to the Guru and tell him that you had my vision. That's enough." So the disciple, he went back, and then he went and prostrated the Guru, and he was so happy. And when the Guru saw him, he was surprised and asked him, "Why are you so happy?" So he said, "Because of you, only I could see the vision of Lord Krishna." So he said, "How come, I've been doing tapas, austerity for all these years, and I could not see him. Only you saw him. You are just telling a lie. You're just bluffing." So he said, No. When you asked me to go and jump into the river, I tried to jump, but at that time the Lord appeared. So he said, "Okay, take me to the river and show me where the Lord appeared and call him. Let's see whether the Lord appears or not." So they went near the river, and the disciple called for the Lord, and the Lord appeared, but the Guru could not see him. The disciple said, "Don't you see him? He's standing here." So he said, No, I can't see him at all. So then the disciple asked the Lord, "Lord, why don't you show your form to him?" So the Lord said, he cannot get my vision because he is not eligible for that. "So how come you are showing me?" So he said, "You have so much faith and devotion. He doesn't have that." So the disciple finally said, "Okay, if you don't at least show your vision at least once, then I will jump into the river." So finally the Lord agreed and said, "Okay, once, only one time." So now, and then he showed his vision to the Guru. So because of the disciple, the Guru got realized or saw the vision of the Lord. So Amma is saying that if you have such perfect faith in the Master, doesn't matter who the Master is. The Guru is a Guru Tattva, or the Guru is a principle. And so, if the disciple so thinks that as long as the Guru is not a human being, but beyond the human being, then what happens? That is what matters. So we should not look upon the Guru as a human being. And he says that if you look up, if the disciple thinks of Guru as a mere person, human being, then what happens? Whatever scriptural knowledge, Whatever wisdom that you have gained will be like the elephant coming back after given a bath. What happens to the elephant? The elephant, when it comes back after giving a bath, it will take the mud or the dust from the earth and then put it back on its head. So it will be like this. And he says, if it is said that the Guru is looked upon only as a man by all his friends and acquaintances, and so it will be irrational to look upon him as divine. The answer is, look, here is Krishna, who in reality is the master of Prakriti and the Jivas, the Supreme Lord whose feet are sought even by the masters of yoga. Even he is considered by most people as a man. His divinity is not recognized by ordinary people. Hence, the humanity of the Guru is no argument against being recognized as the light of the Lord illumining the disciple. So he's saying, if it is said that the Guru looked up only as man by all his friends and acquaintances. So here, he's saying, given the example of Lord Krishna. What happened to Lord Krishna? It is said that in the Bhagavatam, again, they're saying that only 11 people knew who Lord Krishna really was. What happened? The rest, all of them looked upon him as either their friend or relative or acquaintance or enemy. So he was saying that it is irrational to look upon him as divine. So they were saying, oh no, he is not divine. And he is saying, who was really Krishna? In reality, the master of Prakriti, the master of nature, and the jivas of the individual souls, and whose feet were sought by the yogis. So he's saying that even such a person is not recognized by ordinary people. And Amma always says that what happens in Kali Yuga, people will run after all these gurus who will tell them that, oh, okay, I'll teach you something and you will get realized in 10 days. And they will run after that. People who are not really gurus. So what happens when the real guru comes, they will just discard them and say, oh, who is this guy or this person? They are not real because they are not telling the others that they will realize in 10 days or 1 week. So this is the problem. So he's saying that humanity of the Guru is no argument against being recognized as the light of the Lord, illumining the disciple. So you cannot also look at the disciple and decide what the status of the Guru is. So here, what is saying that coming back, so if you want to acquire all the qualities without effort, what is the shortcut? Faith in the Guru. And faith in the Guru means having the understanding that the Guru is a principle and who is beyond the body and who is not also he's not merely the body or the mind that we see or the 5 foot human being that we see is beyond that. So he's saying that all the Vedic injunctions regarding rites and charities have the control of the senses as their ultimate purposes. But if these practices, while helping the control of the senses, happen to obstruct the practice of concentration and samadhi, they are to be considered merely as purposeless hardship. So, what does all the Vedic injunctions, all the scriptures say, and all the rites and the charities, what is the purpose? It is for the control of the senses. But if it doesn't control the senses, then what happens? If one is doing charity to get name and fame,
or one is doing a yajna, a great sacrifice, saying that I, the great, did it. So he's saying that it's just a purposeless hardship. And he's saying that just as agriculture, trade do not help one to attain the goal of spiritual communion, but becoming obstructing factors, so can the charitable works and sacrificial offerings of a man be if he is an asat, an extrovert, devoid of any higher idea about life. So you have seen people, donating. Why? Because they want their name to be put on a piece of stone and saying that I, the great, offered this building to all these people. So there is no point, he's saying. A man who is intent on the control of the mind, if he finds obstruction in home life, should become non-attached, give up the idea of a possession, become a mendicant, and live alone in solitude, subsisting on a spare meal obtained on alms. So he's saying, if you want to really control the mind, and if you are living in a home life, and if it is, he should become non-attached and give up the possession, and you just started to wander like a beggar and live alone in solitude. And he says, O king, taking a seat on a clean and level ground, he should. So this is. Before this, let me just elaborate on this statement, because many people misunderstand this. So when we are living in the world, we have to understand that it is very difficult to control the mind. So he's saying it's not talking about every grahastha. So he's saying that it's talking about a very matured grahastha. And when you become a matured grahastha, then what happens? You will find that living in the house has become a burden. So in that case, that's why they are saying that you should go and live alone in solitude. So it doesn't mean that every grahastha should do that. It's not for that. So if you are intent, that's what he's saying, intent on the control of the mind, that's when you should do it. And so if you cannot do it, but for many of us, the grahastha ashramis, we are so fortunate to have Amma, isn't it? And some of us are more fortunate because both the husband and the wife are devotees of Amma. So when we live with that kind of a harmony, with that kind of an understanding, it's very easy to control the mind. And in fact, what happens is also sometimes the wife becomes the guru, or the husband becomes the guru, and becomes like Amma, and says, you control this, control that, don't do this, don't do that. So we get a extra guru as a gift in our lives. So not one, but 2 or 3. And sometimes even our children, they teach us. I've seen children telling their parents, didn't Amma say like this? Then why are you doing like that? Didn't Amma tell you not to spend money? Why are you spending money unnecessarily? Didn't Amma tell you to do this? So they also become gurus. So in one sense, we don't have to leave our homes, because if we live with that harmony, with that understanding, our children or our husband or our wife can also become upagurus, that is, gurus who are helping us to reach the goal. So we have that great fortune, good fortune, to have Amma and to have all the people around us guiding us and telling us what to do and what not to do. So in that sense, we don't have to leave home. Some of us will find we are leaving home because we are finding it difficult to live with all these gurus around us, telling us what to do and what not to do. So that's why we are leaving home. Not that we want to be alone. We are amidst all these gurus finding faults with us, telling us, you should not do this, you should not do that. You cannot turn left, you cannot turn right, you cannot walk straight. So in one sense, that's why you want to renounce home. But we can be thankful, we can be happy that we have a house where everybody is devoted to Amma, and everybody can move forward in that sense to the supreme goal by these guidances. So we shouldn't, in one sense, we should not react to all these pointers that has been given. And in fact, we should welcome them, but many a time we don't have that kind of attitude. So we can pray to Amma to give us that attitude and give us the correct pointers even through a small child. And maybe it could be our children, it could be somebody else's children telling us what to do and what not to do. So we should just accept it the way it comes to us and be thankful that Amma is guiding through them. Because Amma cannot, even though Amma is subtly present everywhere, we cannot perceive Amma's presence. So Amma has to come in this manner, through somebody else. So she has to appear in the form of our children, our husband or wife, and tell us what to do and what not to do. So let's be grateful for that and understand that next time, let's not get angry, and let's understand. And if there is a point in what they are saying, and if there is something deep, then let's take it. And if it's not, then just let's leave it behind and don't worry about it. So as I said, this is for people who are really, really intent on doing sadhana and deep sadhana. So that's what they are talking about. So please don't misunderstand this. It doesn't mean that everybody should leave home and become a mendicant, a beggar. So it's not like that. So it's that people who really wants to be focused on their sadhana should do that, and especially if you do not have a guru. So these are the 2 points. So we'll continue the discussion, not next week, because next 3 weeks, there won't be any class. I'm sorry again, I apologize. So we'll continue maybe in April. Om Amriteshwariya Namah. Play five. Upper five. Ambe Ma, Jagadambe Ma, Ambe Ma, Jagadambe Ma,
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 Amritamayi, Anandamayi, Amritanandamayi, Maha
Amritamayi, Anandamayi,
Amritamayi, Anandamayi, Amritanandamayi, Maha Shantimayi, Suhasamayi, Amritanandamayi,
Shantimayi, Suhasamayi, Amritanandamayi,
Shantimayi, Suhasamayi, Amritanandamayi,
Shantimayi, Suhasamayi, Amritanandamayi,
Ambe Ma, Jagadambe Ma, Ambe Ma, Jagadambe Ma,
Ambe Ma, Jagadambe Ma, Ambe Ma, Jagadambe Ma,
मैं हूँ अनाद तू हे मादा,
मैं
मायातीता सद्गुरुमाता मायातीता सद्गुरुमाता वेद पुराण तू ही गीता वेद पुराण तू ही गीता अमृतमयी अम्बे माँ जगदम्बे अम्बे माँ जगदम्बे अम्बे माँ जगदम्बे अमृतमयी आनंदमयी अमृतानंदमयी अम्बे माँ जगदम्बे माँ अम्बे माँ जगदम्बे माँ वाणी वीणा पाणि ब्रह्माणि लक्ष्मी नारायणी मा कल्याणी त्रिशूलवाणी अम्बा भवानी त्रिशूलवाणी अम्बा भवानी अमृतमयी अम्बे माँ जगदम्बे अम्बे माँ जगदम्बे अम्बे माँ जगदम्बे अमृतमयी आनंदमयी अमृतानंदमयी अम्बे माँ जगदम्बे 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 अम्बे जगदम्बे अम्बे Jagadambe Ma. Gajanana he Gajanana, Gajanana he Gajavadana. Gajanana he Gajanana, Gajanana he Gajavadana. Gajanana he Gajanana, Gajanana he Gajavadana. Varana Madhara Gajanana, Parvati Nandana Gajanana. Karunyalaya Gajanana, Karana Purusha Gajanana. Gajanana he Gajanana, Gajanana he Gajanana. Vigna Vinayaka Gajanana, Sajjana Sevida Gajanana. Vigna Vinayaka Gajanana, Sajjana Sevida Gajanana. Chitkana Shamala Nitya Niramaya Satpaladayaka Gajanana.
Chitkana Shamala Nitya Niramaya Satpaladayaka Gajanana.
गजानना 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 हे गजवदना आर्त संरक्षक गजानना आत्म प्रकाश गजानना आर्त संरक्षक गजानना आत्म प्रकाश गजानना आनंदामृत पूरित मोद सुरादिव सेवित गजानना गजानना हे गजानना गजानना हे गजवदना गजानना हे गजानना गजानना हे गजवदना गजानना हे गजानना गजानना हे गजवदना गजानना हे गजवदना गजानना हे गजवदना भवानी जय जय भवानी जय जय
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 कैलास शक्ति शिव शंकरी 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 जय जय
भवानी जय जय भवानी जय जय
भवानी जय जय भवानी जय जय
कैलास शक्ति शिव शंकरी जय जय
कैलास शक्ति शिव
कैलास शक्ति शिव शंकरी जय जय नमः शिवाय 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 भवानी जय जय भवानी जय जय कैलास शक्ति शिव शंकरी जय जय नमः शिवाय 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 भवानी जय जय भवानी जय जय भवानी जय जय भवानी जय जय कैलास शक्ति शिव शंकरी जय जय कैलास शक्ति शिव शंकरी जय जय नमः शिवाय 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 भवानी जय जय भवानी जय जय भवानी जय जय भवानी जय जय कैलास शक्ति शिव शंकरी जय जय कैलास शक्ति शिव शंकरी जय जय नमः शिवाय 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 Namah Shivaya, Namah Shivaya. Bhavani Jai Jai, Bhavani Jai Jai. Kailasa Shakti Shiva Shankari Jai Jai. कुछ न ले आया तो कुछ न ले जाएगा, नाम हरि का जब ले संग वही आएगा।
कुछ न ले आया तो कुछ न ले जाएगा, नाम हरि का जब ले संग वही आएगा।
कुछ न ले आया तो कुछ न ले जाएगा, नाम हरि का जब ले संग वही आएगा।
कुछ न ले आया तो कुछ न ले जाएगा, नाम हरि का जब ले संग वही आएगा।
हरि बोल हरि बोल हरि हरि बोल, हरि बोल हरि बोल हरि हरि बोल,
हरि बोल हरि बोल हरि हरि बोल, हरि बोल हरि बोल हरि हरि बोल,
हरि बोल हरि बोल हरि हरि बोल, हरि बोल हरि बोल हरि हरि बोल।
हरि बोल हरि हरि बोल, हरि बोल हरि बोल हरि हरि बोल।
कुछ न ले आया तो कुछ न ले जाएगा, नाम हरि का जब ले संग वही आएगा।
ले आया तो कुछ न ले जाएगा, नाम हरि का जब ले संग वही आएगा।
हरि बोल हरि बोल हरि हरि बोल, हरि बोल हरि बोल हरि हरि बोल,
हरि बोल हरि हरि बोल, हरि बोल हरि बोल हरि हरि बोल,
हरि बोल हरि बोल हरि हरि बोल, हरि बोल हरि बोल हरि हरि बोल।
हरि बोल हरि बोल हरि हरि बोल, हरि बोल हरि बोल हरि हरि बोल।
होगा क्या कल ये न तुझको खबर है, कुछ दिनों की है रे जीवन सफर है।
क्या कल ये न तुझको खबर है, कुछ दिनों के लिए जीवन सफर है।
होगा क्या कल ये न तुझको खबर है, कुछ दिनों की है रे जीवन सफर है।
क्या कल ये न तुझको खबर है, कुछ दिनों का ये जीवन सफर है।
समय न गवा तो,
हरि हरि बोल,
समय न गवा तो,
हरि हरि बोल,
समय न गवा तो,
हरि हरि बोल,
समय न गवा तो।
हरि हरि बोल।
हरि बोल हरि बोल हरि हरि बोल, हरि बोल हरि बोल हरि हरि बोल,
हरि बोल हरि बोल हरि हरि बोल, हरि बोल हरि बोल हरि हरि बोल,
Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Hari Bol. सुख में सब साथ रहे, दुख में न कोई रे, अपने से बढ़कर न प्रेम कर कोई रे।
सब साथ रहे, दुख में न कोई रे, अपने से बढ़कर न प्रेम करे कोई रे।
सुख में सब साथ रहे, दुख में न कोई रे, अपने से बढ़कर न प्रेम कर कोई रे। समय न गवा तो, समय न गवा तो, समय न गवा तो, समय न गवा तो। हरि बोल, हरि बोल, हरि हरि बोल, हरि बोल, हरि बोल, हरि हरि बोल। हरि बोल, हरि बोल, हरि हरि बोल, हरि बोल, हरि बोल, हरि हरि बोल। कुछ न ले आया तो कुछ न ले जाएगा, नाम हरि का जब ले संग वही आएगा।
कुछ न ले आया तो कुछ न ले जाएगा, नाम हरि का जब ले संग वही आएगा।
कुछ न ले आया तो कुछ न ले जाएगा, नाम हरि का जब ले संग वही आएगा।
कुछ न ले जाएगा, नाम हरि का जब ले संग वही आएगा।
हरि बोल, हरि बोल, हरि हरि बोल, हरि बोल, हरि बोल, हरि हरि बोल। हरि बोल, हरि बोल, हरि हरि बोल, हरि बोल, हरि बोल, हरि हरि बोल। होगा क्या कल ये न तुझको खबर है, कुछ दिनों की है रे जीवन सफर है।
क्या कल ये न तुझको खबर है, कुछ दिनों की है रे जीवन सफर है।
सुख में सब साथ रहे, दुख में न कोई रे, अपने से बढ़कर न प्रेम कर कोई रे।
सुख में सब साथ रहे, दुख में न कोई रे, अपने से बढ़कर न प्रेम करे कोई रे।
समय न गवा तो, समय न गवा तो, समय न गवा तो, समय न गवा तो। हरि बोल, हरि बोल, हरि हरि बोल, हरि बोल, हरि बोल, हरि हरि बोल। हरि बोल, हरि बोल, हरि हरि बोल, हरि बोल, हरि बोल, हरि हरि बोल। हरि बोल, हरि बोल, हरि हरि बोल, हरि बोल, हरि बोल, हरि हरि बोल। हरि बोल, हरि बोल, हरि हरि बोल, हरि बोल, हरि बोल, हरि हरि बोल। हरि बोल, हरि बोल, हरि हरि बोल, हरि बोल, हरि बोल, हरि हरि बोल। हरि बोल, हरि बोल, हरि हरि बोल, हरि बोल, हरि बोल, हरि हरि बोल। हरि बोल, हरि बोल, हरि हरि बोल, हरि बोल, हरि बोल, हरि हरि बोल। हरि बोल, हरि बोल, हरि हरि बोल, हरि बोल, हरि बोल, हरि हरि बोल। हरि बोल, हरि बोल, हरि हरि बोल, हरि बोल, हरि बोल, हरि हरि बोल। हरि बोल, हरि बोल, हरि हरि बोल, हरि बोल, हरि बोल, हरि हरि बोल। हरि बोल, हरि बोल, हरि हरि बोल, हरि बोल, हरि बोल, हरि हरि बोल। हरि बोल, हरि बोल, हरि हरि बोल, हरि बोल, हरि बोल, हरि हरि बोल। हरि बोल, हरि बोल, हरि हरि बोल, हरि बोल, हरि बोल, हरि हरि बोल। हरि बोल, हरि बोल, हरि हरि बोल, हरि बोल, हरि बोल, हरि हरि बोल। हरि बोल, हरि बोल, हरि हरि बोल, हरि बोल, हरि बोल, हरि हरि बोल। हरि बोल, हरि बोल, हरि हरि बोल, हरि बोल, हरि बोल, हरि हरि बोल। हरि बोल, हरि बोल, हरि हरि बोल, हरि बोल, हरि बोल, हरि हरि बोल। अमृतेश्वरी मङ्गलम् प्रणमदा मुक्तिप्रदे मङ्गलम् भुवनेश्वरी मङ्गलम् सुकृदीना एकाश्रये मङ्गलम् अमृतेश्वरी मङ्गलम् प्रणमदा मुक्तिप्रदे मङ्गलम् भुवनेश्वरी मङ्गलम् सुकृदीना मङ्गलम् हृदयेश्वरी मङ्गलम् हृदिलसत्तेजोर्मयी मङ्गलम् मृदुभाषिणी मङ्गलम् विजयदा प्रेमाकृदे मङ्गलम् विजयदा प्रेमाकृदे मङ्गलम् विजयदा प्रेमाकृदे मङ्गलम्. जय जय जग जननी वन्दे अमृतानन्दमयी मंगल आरती माधवानी अमृतानन्दमयी माधा अमृतानन्दमयी जन मन निज सुखदायिनी माधा अमृतानन्दमयी जननी अमृतानन्दमयी माधा अमृतानन्दमयी सकलागम निगमादिषु चरिते अमृतानन्दमयी जननी वन्दे अमृतानन्दमयी अमृतानन्दमयी प्रेम रसामृत वर्षिणी मादा अमृतानन्दमयी प्रेम Madamritanandamaye, Madamritanandamaye, Samadamadaini Manalayarini Amritanandamaye, Sadadam Mama Hridi Vasada Devi Amritanandamaye, Mada Amritanandamaye, Padidodhar Nirandar Hridaye Amritanandamaye, Paramahamsa Pada Nilaye Devi Amritanandamaye, Mada Amritanandamaye, He Janani Jani Marana Nivadi Amritanandamaye, He Srida Jana Paripalini Jayada Amritanandamaye, Mada Amritanandamaye, Surajana Pujita Jaya Jagadamba Amritanandamaye, Sahaja Samadhi Shudhanye Devi Amritanandamaye, Mada Amritanandamaye, Mada Amritanandamaye, Mada Amritanandamaye. Om Jaya Jaya Jagajanani Vande Amritanandamaye, Mangala Arati Mada Bhavani Amritanandamaye, Mata Amritanandamaye, Mada Amritanandamaye. Jai Bolo Sadguru Mada Amritanandamayi Devi ki. Asatoma Sadgamaya Tamasoma Jyotirgamaya Mrityorma Amritam Gamaya. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Lokaha Samastaha Sukhino Bhavantu. Lokaha Samastaha Sukhino Bhavantu. Lokaha Samastaha Sukhino Bhavantu. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Hari Om.